that no matter what, if anybody looks like me, it's not European. You see, you could be there for 1,000 years. You're still an African extract.
You know, there's some people in America who don't believe. They look just like you and I. They don't believe they are from Africa.
They are not Arabs. They are not Chinese. So if you look at the races of the different races, you're either African, European, Caucasian, Chinese, Indian, Arab. Which one are you? You are not any of them. So your race, we identify you by your race. You can say that you don't come from Africa, but as a race, you're an African. So long as you look like me. And if they do the DNA test, they will not find you in Britain. They will find you in Africa. So you may hate Africa, but if you hate Africa and you look like me, you really hate yourself. And you never have comfort and peace until you accept that. Because you can't hate really what you are and be at peace with yourself. It's never true. So they're doing that based on what they know, and much of it is misinformation. And I can say that many African Americans, Jamaicans who have embraced their Africanness, not necessarily coming to Ghana, are very much more at peace with themselves than the other ones who are trying to deny.
Interesting.
Yes, you can see it.
Yo, so we back in here for another edition of F-ya-Motha, and rule one as a Black American is never to take advice from people that shit in the streets or barely have written books. We just gonna put that out there. First of all, he sounds stupid. Anybody that looks like, there are niggas in the Dominican Republic that look like you, they're not fucking African. Now, I know some people that's gonna say, well, there were people that were dropped off, or okay. He's equating black skin to people that may have Africanoid genetics, which I forgot the name of the man that actually coined that whole theory. But he believed that there was an Africanoid skull, a Caucasianoid skull, and a Mongoloid skull. Those are the only three races in this world. Everything else is a tri-blend, a mixed derivative, for lack of better words. I don't buy into that theory. That's Eurocentric science, to say the least. There's no proven history on that. There are people in South Sudan and Ethiopia that have skulls that mimic white people's skulls. What the fuck are we talking about? That's stupid. The white man that came up with that theory was stupid. Anybody that believes that is stupid. Now, going to the skin complexion, there are people in Guatemala that are dark as him, if not darker. They're not African. We are divided, separated, distinguished by things called culture. Once something is removed to another locale, years, if not centuries of evolution and change, and without disruption, they have their own culture. Now they genetically, like, intrinsically linked, or let me rephrase that. Are they genetically linked? Possibly, right? We could use that theory for everybody on the planet. Even people in fucking Finland and Iceland have African genetics. That's, hell, if you believe in the out of Africa theory, even Europeans have African genetics. Everybody got that shit. That's stupid. Not only that, the word Africa is relatively a new term. They wasn't calling people Africans 1,000 years ago. So what the fuck? Now we're at a disadvantage of what to call the people. Now, that doesn't change the genetics. However, people technically wouldn't be Jamaican or wouldn't be African that are in Rome, or people that live in Turkey, or people in Australia. Not only that, this whole, like, black people that look like him are African just because they look like a nigga. There's niggas in Australia. Let me just put this out here. There are black skinned people in every corner of the world, right? Every place you go to, I don't care if it's Europe, Finland, Iceland, Greenland, Australia, South America, the Caribbean islands, America, Canada. There are black people that are stationed in every corner of the world. They don't necessarily have to have spawn from Africa. That's stupid. Hell, if you want to add insult to injury, the white race is actually the relatively newest one, with a history of, 6,000 years old? African motherfuckers, got a history of 195,000 years? They found the oldest bones in Brazil, in North America, a Brazilian woman that had Africanoid features. 1.2 million. Every motherfucker is black in the world. That doesn't mean that they're the same people. This is stupid. Not only that, this is right here, like Tariq Nasheed says, this right here interferes with our distinction of who we are. That literally negates us having an ethnicity, if that's the fact. But you can't do that to African people. You can't do that to Caribbean people. They make mention and make known that I'm Caribbean, or I'm from this island, or I'm Nigerian, and I'm this and that and the third. When it comes to black people, oh, you from Africa. Motherfucker, did it ever occur to any of these jackasses and people that don't read books that there were black skinned people in the Americas that were not African? It's stupid. Not only that, out of the 30 million motherfuckers that quote unquote were born from Africa, and even I believe that's bullshit, but we'll just go with that because they have documentation of cargo. Only 3% of those motherfuckers survived the boat ride, right? Roughly 388,000 motherfuckers made it here. What the fuck are we talking about? It's 44 million black people in America. We're not gonna go off this notion that all these motherfuckers is black all spawned from African slaves. That's stupid. Not only that, there were a whole coast in America, the West Coast, right? There wasn't really technically slavery, even though they had spots of plantations here. There was unofficially a law that black people were to be enslaved if they were captured on the West Coast. However, for the ones that wasn't, they had already been procreating, spawning generations of people that were brown skinned, and they come off a fucking slave boat. If you don't know that, it would behoove you to read a book. And I say all that to say, because the title of this video, I seen a post on NBC News on Yahoo. It says, "Some black insist I'm not African American. The labels used to describe Americans of African descent mark the movement of people from slave house to the White House today. Many are resisting the progression by holding on to a name from the past, black." You goddamn right. Not only that, Jesse Jackson popularized that goddamn term in 1984. Suck a dick or die trying. I know it's gonna be some people out there like, oh, in the 70s they called them Afro-Americans. Jesse Jackson popularized African American. Afro-American was the term they used because of the afro that they wore. African, he was trying to find some kinship in Africa. Fuck him. And I always believe he had something to do with MLK's assassination. In any event, if you like this video, you know what to do, and I'm out. No.